Coming up on the Making Waves VO podcast.
Because I was at a point where do they even want me anymore? The place I'm at in my career, but now I know they do, and so everything is optimistic now. Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
Yes, it is the Making Waves VO podcast presented by our very good friends at Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
Bobby, we've had some great guests on the podcast lately, and we've talked about some important subjects here recently. But I thought, today, let's just have some fun and just chat and catch up. And we haven't talked about, you and I a whole lot lately. How have you been?
Well, I just got off vacation, so it was good. It was good.
Yeah?
It
was good? Did you have to work?
Well, you know what they say. If things are slow, you go on vacation.
Yeah, what happened? Tell me about what happened when you were on vacation.
Well, there are three different things that happened. I recorded like 5 jobs. Did you notice how I said 5?
5.
Because that's key to what I was going to tell you about.
FAVE, 5.
5. And it was great that I had my Southern Kentucky-born friend on vacation with me. But no, I got hired for a Southern Light voice for a big chain of restaurants across the country.
What can you say? I mean, I know, I just for our listeners. But
yeah, I'd rather wait.
You better not?
Yeah, I'd rather wait.
Okay.
But it was pretty cool because I just moved here, a year and a half ago, and I've been picking up this accent, and I thought, I'm just going to audition for it. Why not? And landed it, and it's a big campaign that's going to run all year. So I was like super stoked.
Awesome. And so you were on vacation, and this was a directed session?
Yeah. Actually, it was funny because I don't have Source Connect on my laptop. And I was like, oh, no, they need Source Connect. And I just happened to spot, I was on Anna Maria Island in Florida. And I saw that the studio was in Tampa.
Oh, wow.
So I said, is there a chance we could record at your studio? And he said, absolutely. So it just all pieced together.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is just, that's the VO universe looking out for you.
It is. And more, but we don't need to get into that. But it was just like, yeah, it was an answer to a lot of prayers that have been going on because it's kind of been slow this year.
Yeah.
And then
that's fantastic.
Yeah. And then another auto agency reached out from my marketing last month and said they're putting me on the roster.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that also happened when you were on vacation last week?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
And then the third thing, it was like three's charm. Someone reached out and said that they wanted to refer me to a big agent. I can't say anything else on that one.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Can we talk after we shut off the mics?
Of course.
I love that. Well, congratulations on what was going on while you're on vacation.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. I'm going to tease something about what happened, and it's the exact same thing as you were just talking about. Whenever you want to book something, go out of town.
Right.
It just happened to me too. But I'm going to wait and save it till towards the end of the podcast today because I think it kind of qualifies as a nightmare session story.
I love it. Can't wait to hear it.
So buckle up and keep your seat in the upright position, and that's a tease. And we'll go into that nightmare session a little bit later towards the end of the podcast. Everything is going good here in Nashville, Bobby. We are staying busy with automotive work. Last month was pretty solid, but May is going to pick up. And whenever I did my end of the year kind of numbers from 2024, a couple of things stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've always thought that it's May and November that are the busiest, but March was actually my busiest last year. And seems like it was that way this year. And then we slowed down just a little bit in April, but May is going to pick back up for automotive work.
Yay!
Yeah. And so I found that if you'll indulge me just a second, talk amongst yourselves for a second. The voiceover universe is being nice to you right now. Talk amongst yourselves, Bobby.
All right.
While I look for this.
So Lacey, how's your month been?
Lacey, our editor and producer and a voice actor of her own, is also here and is monitoring things in the background. Lacey, I guess that's a legit question for you.
Yeah, it was. Unless she decided to leave us.
Oh, no. It's been great. It's been fine. Lots of travel, lots of work. I mean, as you said, literally the same thing. Every time I go out of town, I feel like I come back and have so much work to do, which is great, Not complaining about that.
It's crazy. It's just literally like, it's a law. It's like Murphy's Law or something in the voiceover world. Hey, can you hear this? Can you hear that noise?
Yes.
Like a siren?
No.
Yes.
It's one of those little portable fans. It is smoking hot in Tennessee this week.
It
Well,
is.
you live in Tennessee, right, Bobby?
Yes.
That's why.
I love you.
Good one. Well played.
Isn't it like really hot this week?
Oh, that's so funny. Well, look, I've got, speaking of hot, I've got the hot months for automotive right here in front of me
Okay.
now. And this is so eye-opening to me, and I don't know why. So September of last year was the most spots. September of last year
Okay.
was the most automotive spots. Second busiest month was January. Third busiest month was March. Fourth busiest month was November.
So this is all of 2024. This isn't the
Yeah.
year to date. Okay.
Correct. This is 2024 numbers.
All right.
And then May was the 5th. No, June, then May. Yeah, but all of it's pretty similar. But the slowdown for sure was February. The next slowdown looks like it will be July. And then October's a little bit slower. And December's really slow. December is the slowest month, actually. And, year over year, these numbers will probably be pretty consistent. But yeah, isn't that interesting? I always had in my head it was May and November. And while those are busy months, I forget how busy January was this year or last year in 24. I'd have to look at the numbers from 25 to see. But anyway, we're talking about vacations and doing all these things, and we travel, and automotive is a big part of our work. So
Hang around. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, this is Kate Neeland, voiceover actor, the one with the microphone. And you are listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin and Bobby, you lucky sausage. I love them so much. Enjoy.
Oh, Bobby, I remember getting into voiceover, and one of the most exciting parts about getting into voiceover is buying all the gear. You don't realize that until you become a voice actor and you got to produce your own stuff. And you go, ooh, this part should be fun. But then you go, I have not a clue on what I'm supposed to buy.
Exactly.
That's why you trust your good friends at Full Compass, fullcompass.com. They know VO there, and you're going to have a great selection of pro audio gear, and you're going to get a lot of good help. And there's a lot of good attributes that go along with buying from Full Compass.
Yeah, so if you're not really sure when you got the piece of equipment and you have questions about it, they have a free 2-year service or repair plan. They have free shipping on orders over $49. I love that. I think my favorite thing is the low price guarantee, because you just never know. You said a second ago that, you're getting into this and you don't know what you need, but how about, do you know if you're paying the right price for it? So you don't have to worry about that when you shop at fullcompass.com. They'll guarantee to match the price on the products they sell for new, identical, and immediately available products offered at a lower price.
They have flexible financing, Bobby, and they also have free expert assistance. And that's why we say we know VO at Full Compass.
Everything from microphones to interfaces to headphones to mic booms, they've got it.
If you have any questions and you're more old school and you want to call them on the phone, you can call Full Compass at 800-356-5844. Full Compass and fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
Making Waves returns.
Well, you know what? I was on social media, and there is a Facebook group called Voiceover Mamas, just women, obviously.
Yeah?
I guess it could be a male. I don't know. But anyway, someone had posted in the group anonymously. You could tell they were, they just didn't want to know that their business had dipped that much. And it was very sad because they're like, is this not for me? Do I need to go back and find a full-time job again? And just reaching out to other mamas and saying, how has it been for you? And I'd say of the answers that did pop up, the majority of them were yes, it's been a slow 2025. Yeah. And my accountability group for women pretty much have said the same thing, especially the first quarter of 2025, that it's been slow. And I just think it's an industry thing. I don't know. I mean, is it the state of the nation? Is it so much more talent out there? What is it? Have you noticed it overall, Kevin or Lacey?
Yeah, maybe I've noticed it a little bit, and I think it could be the overall, state of uncertainty that we're in right now with the economy and everything. And maybe advertisers have slowed down, and those that are creating stories, maybe they've slowed down a little bit too, with all this uncertainty going on. I don't know.
Yeah, but a lot of people have also said that April has picked up. So hopefully we're turning the tide here.
Yeah. May should pick up pretty nice for automotive stuff. And, it's a good time to just get out there and market and mix it up and stuff like that before, summer vacations really set in. I'd think this is a fruitful time to maybe market and, for those that do that and play that. And
I've seen some auditions already for back to school. Isn't that crazy?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's how far ahead, I guess, some agencies look,
Yeah. I read an audition the other day for something that was like for something towards the end of the year. And I'm like, wow. But, it is nice to see that they are planning that far ahead. Very cool. Hey, Bobby, I want to, I said I want to make this a little bit fun. While this is not a cold read challenge, this is something that I want you to read cold. And it's going to be, I want to play around with a possible new feature for us.
Okay.
And this could be a format that we do it in. We could play around, but today is just kind of an exploration. So I'm going to copy Lacey. Okay, so I'm sending this email to you, Bobby, and you can pull up the Word document that is attached to it, but don't dive too deep. Into. It's okay. I'm going to explain what it is, but for the organic nature, I would love for you to just kind of read it cold when we get to that part. And then my part that I'm going to read will also be pretty cold. I have seen it though. So I want to let me know when you get the email.
I got the email. So
you got the file pulled up?
I do now.
It says at the top, Amazon reviews. So. I'll read Amazon stuff. I'll read reviews. And I always, one day, I think I was with Deborah, and I just started, because we were looking for something, I started reading the reviews out loud.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is how I envision this person right now. So I thought we need some point of view. So I have taken two different reviews are two different products.
Okay.
And then I've got the top review and then the bottom review. I want you, Miss Positive, to read the top review, and then I'm going to read the bottom review. And I want you to just, whatever you want to do, whatever comes to mind. So go ahead and then you see the headline that's kind of highlighted in yellow. Please read that and then read the review. And then I'll read my headline and then read my review.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense? So these are Amazon reviews.
All right. Game changer! Exclamation point. Love it. What a game changer. Easy to use right out of the box. One thing I looked at was surface area, since I'm one of those variety of mugs people, and this is nice and large to accommodate all my mugs. Very nice looking and seems to be high quality. The lowest temp keeps my coffee more than warm and drinkable. Auto shut-off is set by you in increments of 2 hours. Hope it lasts a long time.
Read before purchasing. I always wanted to use that title, but I've never had the opportunity until now. The problem? It does not automatically turn on and off. I've owned several of these coffee mug warmers, and I love them. I like to drink my coffee at a leisurely pace as I peruse the internet, watch a movie, or enjoy the outdoors sitting in my backyard. I also like my coffee hot. With cup warmers, I no longer have to get up and run to the microwave every 30 minutes. I purchased this as a gift, so I did not realize the lack of auto on and off feature until it was too late. Anyway, I'm going to wrap that one up there. I think we might have something here. Isn't that fun?
What a negative Nelly. Good
I know.
Lord.
So let's jump down to the next one. There's another page, and I want you to read the
there's
top
more.
review.
And
yeah,
there's more.
There's one more. So I want you to read the positive review, and I'll read the negative review, okay?
Okay, all right. Best bang for the buck. With all the advertising hype these days, it's a pleasant surprise when a product exceeds my expectation. This is a great automatic vacuum and mop robot for the price. I have 2 older, similar machines and still use one of them in my bedroom, but they suffer from several problems that have been solved beautifully by this machine.
Awful. It cleans okay, but hits every obstacle and every wire it gets entangled. Would not recommend.
Well, that was brief, but blunt.
Yeah, I think it hits the point though. It's I think we could be onto something here. I'm gonna do the next time we do these. I'm gonna get more director on you, and I'm gonna have you read these in like a super sweet, super happy, super pleased with their product kind of a way. But anyway, I think was that fun? Did you like that?
That was. You know what it kind of reminds me of is I used an Airbnb on my vacation, and I always read the reviews before. And some people are the same way. They're just like, best vacation ever, great correspondence with the owner. And then some people will pick on every little thing and have 5 pages of the review. And it's so night and day. And it's just, unfortunately, I had a bad experience, but I'm not going to do a review.
Okay. And that might have been like where I got the idea, is reading like Airbnb reviews or something like that.
Yeah.
Because they can be, you know what? We're going to do that too. So maybe we'll call the segment reviews or, consumer reviews, something like that. Because I love the idea of doing like the super sweet, super happy, positive experience, and then the exact opposite on the very same thing. Like
exactly.
how can their reactions be that much different? Anyway, I just thought that'd be a fun thing for us to do.
Yeah, because it's about emotion, and that's what we're putting into our work, And
yeah. Thank you for bringing it back around to VO. But I think it's helps us embody a character pretty quick, and sharpens those improv skills and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fun. Fun.
Yeah. So we could,
Did you come up with that at 3 a.m., by the way?
Yeah, probably. I seriously, when I was reading them aloud, I think for Deborah or something at some point, and I was doing all that, like I was just imagining the most miserable people on the planet that are just sitting there behind their keyboard, the keyboard warriors, and bitching about the world and, complaining about this and that. And that's what this is awful. I can't believe they even sell this. It's cheap quality, probably made in China. That's the kind of stuff that I'm just imagining this miserable person behind.
That's just it. I mean, if they can put that much energy into a review, can you imagine what their life is like? I mean, what can make them happy? What can put a smile on their face.
Yeah.
Hey, this is international award-winning voice actor Krista Walrock, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
What are your plans in the coming weeks in terms of voiceover? Do you have any marketing you're going to do? It sounds like you got a really important plan to conceptualize in terms of representation, possibly?
Yeah, and the fact that it was a vacation really had my mind just churning. I could hear it, but because it's just when you get to the point, and a lot of us just at some time need vacation to take all that junk and get it out of our heads, and that's where I was at. It's like I just need to relax and sit by the ocean. And then these three things happened, and then I got invigorated. At least it was a positive experience. But so I was thinking, okay, when I get home, I know that marketing works now with the automotive situation. So I'm back on that with a positive attitude. I was thinking, should I reach back out to the national agents? Because I was at a point where I just do they even want me anymore? The place I'm at in my career, but now I know they do, and so everything is optimistic now.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Where are you at? What have you been working on?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Booked another national job.
Through an agent?
Yeah.
Sweet.
And that's going to be my nightmare session story coming up in a minute. Sadly enough, but no, I'm going to a JMC retreat in a couple of few weeks, end of May, and I'm excited about that. And working on my craft a little bit, and a little more networking and those kinds of things. And I'm trying to think. The rest of the summer is going to be a little bit more leisurely. I don't think I'm taking any more work trips that are not scheduled. Yeah, I don't think so. But just grinding and keeping working and keeping moving forward.
So here's a question. I was just talking about the how hot it is this week. Does running the air conditioner at your house in the summertime affect your recordings at all?
No, I've got a pretty good booth from vocalbooth.com. I'm not endorsed by them or anything, but I'm just proud of it. And I've got good ventilation. So knock on wood, I have the exact same ventilation as when I bought it. So the little fans are still working. So I've got an input that pushes the air in. Then I've got an exhaust that pulls the air back out. And so I've got circulating air in here all the time.
So you don't hear it at all. You don't hear the air conditioner.
No. Like I've got AC vents all over my office area. And if I was outside my booth, you could kind of hear them. But in here, with all the baffling and, the way that, the booth magic is done, you don't hear them. But I stay, cool and, refreshed with clean air.
Oh, great. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, good
sometimes
times.
Investing in those big booths really pays off. My husband, he's an engineer, and he loves tinkering. So, he's so proud of his lawn. Because when we moved here, it was just in really bad shape, and it's taken a year and a half, but it looks fantastic. So he wants to keep those, levels of looking good. So he made a sprinkling system, and it's this really intricate thing of pipes and nozzles and shut-off valves, and you can do it on his phone. Guess where he put the system?
Oh, no. Right outside your room.
Right on the other side of this wall.
Bless his heart.
You know what they say about engineers? Their minds are just like centered, and nothing else comes in. It's like, I'm doing it. No. Yeah. So I had to tell him, you have to let me know when you're going to water because I can't record. I mean, it looks great, but yeah, just communication.
And what was that we heard earlier that we thought was a siren?
Oh, that was just my little portable fan because I was like having a moment and I had to turn it on because I was so hot. So I wanted to see.
okay.
I wanted to see if you could hear the little fan, and obviously
Okay.
you can. So.
Oh, yeah.
But I said I was going to stay optimistic.
You're fine. You're fine. We've got some great guests coming up, too, on the Making Waves VO podcast. We're going to talk about dubbing in an upcoming episode. We're going to hear from an audio engineer in another episode, a big-time New York audio engineer, and what his thoughts are on the voiceover world and We Talent. So we've got some fun stuff coming up on the Making Waves VO podcast.
Ooh, you've been busy getting a hold of people.
Yeah, trying to for sure. I don't want to announce anything specific yet because those are still in the works. So, in the Making Waves VO podcast, we'll be right back.
This is Katie Lee, and you've got the best VO podcast in all of the land right here. The Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin and Bobby. Enjoy.
As a voice actor, you want to focus on what's important, right? Like pulling off the perfect read. You don't want to stress about tech stuff. That's why Full Compass is in your corner. With 50 years experience in pro audio, Full Compass has everything we voice actors need. Mics, headphones, monitors, mixers, interfaces, DAWs, all the goodies. And their certified product experts help with everything they sell. Plus, you can get free same-day shipping, flexible financing, and a low price guarantee. See it all at fullcompass.com. Fullcompass.com. They know VO.
Now back to the podcast.
So I guess now I could talk about my nightmare session story.
Yeah, and you were out of town, right?
Nightmare Sessions.
Yes, so it was exactly what you said. I had kind of a last minute trip to Little Rock, Arkansas I had to take last week, and it was kind of last minute. And of course, the day before I'm going, I get a note from my agent, Kevin, can you hold tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, I can. And I'm like, sure. And then, I had already blocked it off for being out of town and not knowing what my schedule was going to be like. But anyway, they wrote me back about 2 hours later, and they're like, great, Kev, you are booked for tomorrow. Can you go at 8:30 a.m. Central Time? I'm like, oh my gosh. So I had to go to Little Rock, Arkansas. My brother had some cancer removed, and it was a pretty major and invasive surgery. Yeah.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah, everything went great. Actually, thank you for asking or commenting. But yeah, everything went great. So I had to be at the hospital at 5:30 that morning. So I'm like, okay, and that was just to be there for when he went in and just, talk to him just a little bit before he went in, because the surgery is supposed to last like 7 or 8 hours, up to 12 actually. And so I'm like, okay, they will probably have him in the operating room by 7:30 or so. That'll give me just the right amount of time to get over to the studio, which was not too far away. And so, it all worked out. So about 7:45, he goes back for surgery. I go over to the place. I find a parking spot, and I'm there about 10 minutes after 8. The session starts at 8:30. We did a test the day before. The studio that I rented did a test with the studio out of Toronto that I'm recording with, and everything went great, blah, blah, blah. So I get there at 8:15, and I want to get there and be in and relaxed and with my copy and just looking it over and, I wish I could have gotten there earlier, but I don't even know if they opened any earlier. So 8:15, the door is locked. And I'm like, oh, no. And so I called him, and thankfully the guy was there. He was just getting set up. Now, the engineer that I'm working with, my guy goes, all right, he's going to be there. He'll be here any minute. And this is for an 8:30 session to set you up and make sure you don't need anything. And he rolls in at 8:28, which makes me super nervous. But anyway, it was right around that time that I hear the Source Connect, doop, would you like to connect? And there it was. I'm like, yeah, great. So doing the session, everything is going great. And it's for a national airline. And I don't want to go into clients right now, but it's just say a national airline. And so the director's like, Kev, okay, you're a passenger on the plane, and you just sit down, and you're discovering all these perks and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Now, the audition was super Chris Pratt-like, very enthusiastic, like a little bit over the top, like, oh, wow, look at this. Oh, is this economy? Oh, my gosh, this is so cool, that kind of vibe. And then, of course, the actual read, oh, no, we're going to dial that way down. So it ended up being more like this. Oh, this is cool. This is very nice. Whatever. All that. So that's about an hour of that. I'm like, sweet. And we're wrapping up, I could tell. And then they go, all right, Kev, we're done with you. We're going to record the pilot now. And remember, I'm at a rented studio. We're going to record the pilot now, and then we're going to do a playback for the agency head and see if we need anything else. And then we'll call you back later. I'm like, call me back later.
Oh.
I'm like at a rented studio. And I'm like, I thought it was all going to be one lump thing, right? And they're like, oh, yeah, did you have a heart out? And I'm like, not officially. No, I did not. And they had asked if I had a heart out. And I didn't really have a heart out because the studio said, hey, Kev, we got a couple of other sessions, but if you don't think it's going to take much more than an hour or so, you should be plenty good to go. And so I'm like, all right. So I leave the studio. And an hour later, what do you think happens?
Oh, no.
They call me and need me back. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I'm at the mercy of the studio now.
Yeah.
But the producer they text me and I said, yeah, I got to go back to the studio. I'll be there in about 10 minutes because it was that close. And they text me back, go back to the studio. And I'm like, and then I quickly explained, yes, I ended up having to go out of town, rented the studio at the last minute. So I'm kind of at their mercy. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, let us know when you can go. And then when I got there, of course, the guy was in his session.
Oh, no.
So I'm getting hot. Like, I'm just like, oh, this is not good business, my friend. I can't help it, though. Nothing I can do. Because I can't, the guy was directing another talent. And they had 2 rooms. One was being used by some podcast people. So I had to wait like 20 minutes. And then I let them know. I'm like, okay, I'm back. And they're like, okay, finally after that. So we get in there, we get reconnected. And I'm like, sorry about that. And they're like, okay, good, blah, blah, blah. We re-record. We need one thing, one line. Famously, one line. and then we record the one line. And they're like, okay, great. Are you able to hang tight while we do a playback for the airline now? I'm like, what? They haven't heard this? Oh, no. And this is like 12:30 at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, my goodness. And they're like, yeah, probably it won't be like last time. Can you hang at that studio now? And I'm like, yeah, I'll hang. I don't know what their schedule is. I said, but I'm here.
And you have to pay them an hourly rate, correct?
Yeah, they were very good with me. Very good with me.
Awesome.
But anyway, so I'm hanging out. And then the guy had to take another session. He had like and funny enough, they were doing casino spots. And I'm like, oh, I'd like to be in there doing the casino spots right now, actually. And so about 30 minutes went by and they got back to me. They're like, Kev, we need you again. I'm like, oh my God. And I said, all right, this guy said he'll be about 20 more minutes. I'll hit you up when they're ready. And they understood at this point. They're like, okay, good. They get me back on the horn. Bobby, the airlines have rewritten the entire script.
No.
Yep. And so we're starting fresh. We're starting anew. And they basically kept the structure of the script, but they felt it was too rushed. So they dropped like one word out of this sentence, one word out of this sentence, one word out of this sentence. And so I had to still read everything all over again. The good news is it was dialed in, the sound and the style and the tone. And so I got all that done, got it all laid down. And they're like, okay, Kev, we got to have the other person re-record theirs because they changed their script too. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then we'll ping you if we need. And they felt good that they had everything. And this is probably 2:00. And they felt like,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You're totally at the mercy of the studio. So there's nothing you can do but wait.
Nothing I can do but wait and pray. And they said they felt good about this. And they said they would ping me if they needed anything else. And so I took the chance and left the studio. And thank goodness it was done. That was it. They got it. They got what they needed. Oh my gosh. But I was like, this is a nightmare session. This is very much a nightmare session. Just based on everything, I was out of town. I had to book it at the last second. I was at the mercy of, a studio and their availability, and then the whole changing of the script and all that stuff.
And imagine if the studio would have been, really
more booked?
Well, no, if they would have charged you an arm and a leg per like the half hour, it's like, would it have been worth your time?
Yeah, that's the thing and that's the thing is I had to weigh, when I called the guy, I was like, do you guys have an hourly rate? Or do you have a budget for, a VO talent or whatever? And he goes, we're VO friendly. He goes, we've got a rate. Their rate was $250 an hour. And I respect that. That's not terrible, really. And he goes, but we're VO friendly. I said, I can't imagine it lasting much more than an hour. And he goes, what would you want to pay? I'm like, would you take $200 for an hour? And he goes, yeah, man, that's great. And so I thought that was very nice.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how. He's like, look, we're here. And he goes, it's extra money no matter what. He is the co-owner. Mm-hmm. And he goes like, so when it was all said and done, I threw him an extra 100. And I said, I'm going to put an extra 100 on here. I don't know what you had in mind. But they probably would not have asked me to pay more, actually, because they were that nice. They were that cool, and they totally understood everything that was going on. They've run a studio for 20 years. So they totally understood all that was going on.
Oh, wow.
I hope that was worthy of a nightmare session story.
Yes, because I can imagine you sweating bullets, going, I can't do anything but wait. So, yeah, that's total nightmare session.
It was, and then they're like, oh, Kevin, they rewrote the script. I'm like, oh my F, come on.
My session that I did in Tampa had about 5 people. So it was the studio person. There's actually 2 studio people. There was the agency. There was, I'm not sure what these 2 guys were. And then there was the client. There was a lot of people on it, but they all just agreed with each other. It could not have gone smoother. And
so they just had a nice cohesive huddle going on.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Oh,
you just never know.
Yep.
Never know.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Well, congrats on that gig. That is cool. I'm excited for you, and I'm hopefully looking forward to hearing the spots because I know they've got a new one of those going in pretty close to where I am.
Oh yeah, it's definitely in our area. So.
All right, very nice, very nice. That'll be fun to hear. Did we have anything else we want to cover? Like, this is just kind of catching up.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, next time we'll talk about voiceover. What do you think?
Let's do that. That is a fantastic idea.
Oh, yeah. The Making Waves VO podcast is presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
Bye, Bobby.
Bye.
The Making Waves VO podcast is produced by K2 Media Productions with hosts Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell. Sound design and editing by Jason Traver. Production assistance by Lacey Deline. Publicity and social media by Shannon Scott and Silas Phillips. Be sure to subscribe to the Making Waves VO podcast on your favorite platform. For all episodes, merchandise, gear, and more, visit makingwavesvo.com. Until next time, I'm AJ McKay. Keep making waves.